Welcome to lesson 2 of this second module where we're planning to make sure our AdWords campaign is as successful as it possibly can be. Now, in the first lesson in this module, we looked at what our objective should be, and we determined what kind of objective we wanted to achieve with our AdWords campaign. So with that done, we know what we want to achieve, what type of outcome we want. Let's turn it into something real. Let's turn it into a number that we can measure and track our performance against. Now, there are several ways we can do this, and I'm going to go through them in order of priority. Profitability would always aim to be our number one measure. And how we do that depends a little bit on what type of business we are. At the end of this section, we're going to go through this in a worksheet. So we're going to turn this into something more concrete rather than just the words. So if the words struggle for you a little bit, don't worry. We're going to walk through an example on a worksheet, and we're going to provide that worksheet to you so you can do this for yourself. So let's have a look at the words first. If we're an e-commerce business, so we're selling online, we're making our final sale online, then our profitability is our selling price less our product cost, less our ad spend. I appreciate in the business there will be other costs as well, like wages and overheads and other things, but in terms of the margin that we can control in our sales and our return on our ad spend, we can do sales less the cost of the product, less of the ad spend it took to generate that sale. That's our profitability we're interested in an e-commerce world. In the lead generation world, so we're generating online inquiries, then our profitability is determined by how many leads we need to get, how many inquiries we need to get, multiplied by our conversion rate. And our conversion rate is simply how many inquiries does it take for us to make a sale. We may sell 1 in every 10 inquiries. We may sell 5 in every 10. Whatever that number is, that's our conversion rate. And then again, our profit per sale. And our profit per sale looks like it did before in terms of e-commerce, which is the revenue less the cost, less the ad spend. So those two numbers are that represent the value of a single transaction to us. But we mustn't forget that in many businesses, there is more than one transaction per customer. Not always. Some there isn't. Say, if you replace roofs, you may get repeat purchases from a customer. It might be only once every 20 years. I don't suggest anybody plans AdWords spend on a repeat sale 20 years into the future. So we need to think about average lifetime value of a customer. And the average lifetime value of a customer to us is how much profit we make per transaction. So that very first transaction, how much are we likely to make on average? Just a typical transaction. How often are those transactions likely to occur? So the frequency, do they do it monthly? Twice a year? Once every 5 years? How frequent is this transaction? Let's think about, say, an optometrist where you may go in, have an eye exam, get some glasses, go back another year later for an eye exam and possibly an upgrade, maybe 2 years later. Maybe it's a cleaning service where the service is delivered every single week. Let's think about that frequency of transaction in your business. And then let's look at how many times it happens. How long do you keep a customer? Do they stay for 2 transactions? Do they stay for 100 transactions? What is your customer loyalty like? That will determine how frequently and the value of our customers is. So that's profitability. If we can measure profitability, that's fantastic. Even if it's not exact, even if we know that on average we make $70 for every $100 sale, that's good enough. This doesn't have to be individual products. It can be an average across our entire portfolio. If we can use profitability, it's the best measure we've got. If we can't, then we like to look at what we call return on ad spend, which is simply how much revenue do we get for every dollar we spend on an ad. So in e-commerce, again, it's really simple. It's sales less ad spend. In a lead generation business, we have this conversion rate. Again, how many leads we get, how multiplied by the conversion rate, multiplied by the income per sale. Income per sale being profit per sale. Sorry, revenue per sale. And again, lifetime value of a customer, as before, is our final determinant of our return on ad spend. If we can't get revenue, and we can't get profit, then our fallback position is our number of leads generated or our cost per lead. So a lead generation business, this could be the number of forms we get, the number of phone calls received. Both of those added together, divided by our ad spend, is our cost per lead. So that's the alternative way we can look at this. It doesn't take account of quality of leads. So bear that in mind, that we've said before, some types of leads may be better than others. An appointment booking may be more valuable than a brochure download. So we need to bear that in mind and focus on our most profitable form of leads that we're trying to generate with our AdWords campaign. Now, something you won't have often come across before, but something I think is critical in AdWords, and something that is the first element of new AdWords language that you're going to see through the remainder of this course. And it's what we call a goal horizon. A goal horizon, if you think about a real horizon, if you're on a cruise liner and you look out to sea, you will see in the distance where the land meets the sky. That's the horizon. And as you sail, that horizon moves progressively because you're moving towards it. And the curvature of the earth, you can gradually see farther. The same applies in AdWords, in that we can set a target today. We can set a goal today based on what we can see and what we know today. In 3 months' time, we have more information, we have more data, we have more experience. We can set a new goal. So I call it a goal horizon because it's what we can see and aim towards today with what we know today. Our horizon will change in the future as we develop the campaign. So our goal horizon is our success metric, our chosen metric with a target date. And I'm going to walk you through our worksheet now to determine this for you. We've made it really simple for you to come up with a concrete, specific, actionable goal horizon. So let's have a quick look at the spreadsheet. Now, if you're not into your spreadsheets, don't worry too much. I've made this really simple. All you need to think about is filling in the yellow boxes. Everything else is done for you. So what we're going to do is calculate these boxes over here. Can you see on the green on the right hand side, your goal horizon? This statement is going to build itself as we progress through the worksheet. So let's have a look. Let's say our average transaction value. So if we make a sale, let's say that's worth to us $100. And that for every $100 sale we make, let's say that we make $75 profit. So this is great. This is a great product or service for us. It costs us $25. We sell it for $100. We make $75 per transaction, which you can see is calculated an average profit percentage of 75%. Going down to the next yellow box, this is our customer value, the number of transactions per customer. So let's say an average customer buys from us 5 times. That gives us out 2 really important numbers. Our profit per customer is $375 because we're going to make $75 per transaction and they're going to do 5 transactions with us. We also know our revenue per customer, our income, our sales per customer is $500. And finally, if we're a lead generation business, we need to know how many phone calls or forms is it going to take us to make a sale. So I put here the number of new customers per 10 inquiries. So for every 10 inquiries I get, how many new customers am I going to get? Let's say we're pretty good. We're good on the phone. Our follow-up's good. Let's say we get 4 new customers. So we now have some really important numbers calculated for us. We know now that because it takes us 10 inquiries to get 4 customers and we make $375 per customer, every time that phone rings or a form comes into our business, it is worth $150 to us. Because on 4 times out of every 10 calls that we get, we're going to make our $375 profit. So one call is worth 150. You can look at the maths behind this if you're interested afterwards, by the way. All the formulae are there and shown for you. Our revenue per inquiry is $200. So again, we know that if the phone rings and we answer it and we're nice and we're helpful, we are making $200 by answering that phone call, providing we get to a consistent average expected result. Now, some will be more, some will be less, but the average will be 200. So now that we know that, we can set a target for our AdWords campaign. And this is where we come into goals here. So with the information above, we can say on a profitability basis, so our primary first choice measure, we can afford to spend up to $375 per sale, because if we know we're going to make $375 per customer. So to get a new customer, we can afford to spend up to $375. I suggest that we don't do that because we're break even, but maybe we were happy to spend 50. That's fine. If we're happy to spend 50, that's okay. If we're more focused on lead generation, and in many AdWords accounts that will be the case, then maybe we can spend up to $150 to make that phone ring. So maybe we're willing to pay $30 to make the phone ring. Now, you'll just see on the spreadsheet here, it's thrown up an error message because I've chosen more than one goal. Because I want you to choose one goal out of this, because we can maximize and optimize our campaign for our one chosen goal. So I'm going to delete that. The other way we can look at this is our return on ad spend. So our return on ad spend is very simple. This will work out the minimum number of times we need to get our money back on our ad spend. And again, we can put a number in there and we'll get the answer out. I strongly recommend, if we can, let's stay up here. If you're into e-commerce, let's come down here. But in most cases, stick around this top part of the spreadsheet. We finally then need to set a goal date. I suggest, if it's a new campaign completely, look 3 months outwards as a starting goal horizon. If it's a brand new campaign, an existing campaign rather, look at 2 months, look at 6 weeks. But I suggest for most cases, 3 months is a good goal horizon. When we put that information in, we will get this goal horizon built for us. An ad cost per inquiry, so a cost per inquiry of $30 by 25th of December, Christmas. So we have a perfectly described, perfectly formed goal horizon there. So with that available to you, that worksheet is available alongside this lesson. Here's your exercise. Use that worksheet, go and calculate your goal horizon. Have fun with it. Get something actionable, get something specific.